Cancer's not something to pretend about. Cancer's not something to joke about. Cancer's not something pretending that I'm lying about cancer for clout and views. The fucked up thing to do. Get help.
You know what would be even more fucked up than saying that you're lying about your cancer diagnosis? Actually lying about your cancer diagnosis. Oh, Boogie. What are you doing, man? I said in the last video you'd find new ways to disappoint us, and I guess I can't be surprised at what happened next. Boogie, as unable to tell the truth as he is, decided that in defense of his fatty crypto coin video, which you can watch my previous coverage of, he'd say that he had cancer and he needed this for medical bills, and so people started to press him on the cancer, and the results have not been great. First thing Boogie did, of course, is the thing that he usually does and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna die anyways, and blah, blah, blah. Bit of the old in Minecraft, you know what I'm trying to say? With Boogie, it's a tale as old as time. He's basically been using that card since he appeared, essentially. Luckily, that was not enough to throw people off the trail as it had been in the past, and so we dug the hole a little deeper. Boogie claims that he's leaving the internet forever, which he did delete his Twitter account, but I think he can't resist posting YouTube videos, or maybe he'll just learn how to subsist off the lolcow live money, but he will be somewhere on the internet, I guarantee you that much. He can't resist. It's that old addictive personality. Physically, I can't restrain myself from doing this. Yeah, I've heard that one 1,000 times too. I'll show some clips here, and he definitely has the body language of a lying toddler, just looking down, can't address anybody directly. I'm not sure if it's actual shame or if he's just gotten this good at faking it. Past history has me leaning toward the latter, however, and everybody could smell the bullshit in the air, the blood in the water. People were calling into the lolcow podcast left and right. Quite some large streamers, such as Destiny, Mr. Medicare, controversial figure that he is. But I also admire the hell out of him on some level. And then, you know, whatever, Keemstar and the other dopes from the lolcow stable. Boogie had another thing with CoffeeZilla, which, well, we should get into that too. He's screaming on the phone, I am not used to this much scrutiny. And CoffeeZilla's like, yeah, obviously. What a ride. Also on the podcast, Boogie was offered $100,000, $60,000 from Mudahar, $15,000 from Keemstar, $5,000 from like 3 other people. I think Destiny and XQC, because they were streaming together or something like that. But yeah, $100,000. Boogie refuses to do it. He says the one shred of privacy he wants to take to his grave is proof of his cancer diagnosis. He'll never open the medical reports. You could open them after he's dead. Then he doesn't have to deal with the consequences of his actions, you see. But no, everybody on the entire internet is pressing him, trying to make him admit. And at some point, after everybody turns against him, you'd think he'd have some come to Jesus moment and be like, you know what, guys, I did lie about it, I screwed up, I want to turn a new leaf. But then again, we've heard all that from Boogie before too, so I wouldn't buy it. When I started making these Boogie videos, we were on a pretty good path, you know? He's taking walks outside, I still razz him and such. But you could just tell, his heart's not in it. I knew in those videos that he wasn't going to change, and even after just watching for the past couple of months, I'm more convinced than ever. So there is some backstory to the cancer thing. Boogie released a video November 16th of 2022. He didn't just spin this thing out of nowhere. No, this is a narrative, a web of lies that he's been using to grift people for over a year, which is just ludicrous. In the video, he goes on to say some very interesting lies, but first I think we need a little backstory on what polycythemia is. Polycythemia vera is a form of bone marrow cancer that makes you produce too many platelets, white blood cells, and red blood cells. Secondary polycythemia includes only the increase of the red blood cells, and it's often caused by something that isn't cancer. Hypoxemia is one. Would you big boy like Boogie? I don't know. He's got some sleep apnea. He talks about doing some sleep tests in the video. So I think that that's a good qualifier for secondary polycythemia as opposed to the polycythemia vera cancer variant. He'll probably try and play dumb and say he misunderstood, but on that lolcow stream, he was very adamant that it was Vera. He doesn't want to show anybody, not even for 100K, but it definitely is that one. Like, dude, why wouldn't you? You could pay off your house and shit. I have that thing whooped up there so quick. You can't lie to the internet. You just can't. Live an honest life, because the collective knowledge of the entire internet is going to own your ass. How hard is it to admit that you were wrong? I guess it's just too much for him for some reason. I do it freely, and because I do it so freely, nobody's surprised when I'm wrong again. So yes, common causes of secondary polycythemia, sleep apnea, obesity, hyperventilation, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Other causes include testosterone replacement therapy. Dude, this is like a checklist of all the boogie things. You want me to believe that this didn't develop despite all of these extenuating factors? You got this very, very rare form of like actual blood cancer? I don't think so. The world doesn't think so. Boogie's just far too proud to admit that, yeah, he told a lie about this or that. He's gonna run with it and keep it secret, despite the fact that he made a video about it immediately. He just doesn't want to show anybody any official medical paperwork, even through a third party. It's just insanity. I do apologize for rambling so long. I do want to get some reactions in here to like all the videos that I'm talking about. I'll try and cut them up as nice as I can, and yeah, bingo bango, this thing's out the gate. So indeed, with the synopsis out of the way, why not get into the video that kicked the entire thing off, even though nobody truly knew what was being kicked off quite yet. But that is Boogie's unlisted video, I Have a Rare Form of Cancer. Let's watch, shall we?
So I've been debating for a while to talk to you guys about this, but I hope it brings you guys a little bit of clarity about some of the videos I've made in the last month or so. Because, well, you remember about 3 weeks back I said that I likely could potentially have a form of cancer?
Just shrug your shoulders, look into the camera. Oopsie daisy. Hey everybody, remember that cancer that I saw coming down the road? Well, it turns out we couldn't avoid it. Then he shows off the definition for polycythemia vera. The differences I've already explained, so don't worry too much about that part.
We knew that this was a possibility. You never think you're going to be the guy who gets that side effect though, right? You never think it's going to be you. But sometimes it is. It has to be somebody. But the good news is, I mean, this is a disease that takes a really long time to get you.
20 years. 20-year life expectancy? Boogie, the size you are, I give you 10, you know? Probably there is treatment if you do have it. But the whole sticking point here is you said it's cancer. You grifted your fans because they all thought it was cancer too. They're like, oh, I gotta give some of my money to old Boogster. It's over, dude. You're so done. You're beyond cooked.
Turns out I got a rare blood cancer called polycythemia vera, which basically makes your body produce too many red blood cells. And when I started taking that testosterone supplement 7 or 8 years ago, however long it's been, we knew that this was a possibility.
So yes, testosterone supplement, COPD, sleep apnea, and I forget the medical term for it, but you know, you can't breathe because you're fat. That last one. Yes, confirm the testosterone treatment. So you have the secondary polycythemia, but he's specifically calling it polycythemia vera. Now, one could argue that, I mean, he's in Arkansas. I don't know how the doctors are in Arkansas, but I assume they have some level of skill, despite the reputation of the state, right? So instead of throwing all that onto the doctor's shoulders, I'm going to say that Boogie, he probably didn't misunderstand. He probably Googled it and he's like, oh, it's a form of cancer. And he just ran with it. Where did he run? Great question, viewer. To YouTube, of course. I gotta tell everyone about it. I was thinking about telling you guys about it, but we'll learn later from a deleted Twitter post. I mean, all of his Twitter's deleted, but one of those posts said that he got diagnosed today, so he immediately ran to the internet. There was no thinking about it. It's not the reason that he was acting weird. The reason he was acting weird was because he's fucking weird. So am I, but, you know, within limits. All right, keep going.
You never think you're going to be the guy who gets that side effect, though, right? You never think it's going to be you. But sometimes it is. It has to be somebody. But the good news is, I mean, this is a disease that takes a really long time to get you. Statistically speaking, I'll die of a blood clot or a heart attack or a stroke due to one of those blood clots. And most people, after getting diagnosed, live another 20 years.
Yeah, you'll die of being fat before before the polycythemia gets you. Don't you worry about that. 20 years? You got maybe 10 left. Probably less. It's looking less every day. Me and my wife actually made a bet today on how it would all end for Boogie. She said by his own hand. I said he's too much of a coward, so I guess we'll see.
So, if you're gonna get a cancer, this is the one to get. You know me and my dark sense of humor. When my doctor told me all of this, I said, if I die of cancer, doc, instead of my morbid obesity, which I've been working so hard on for the last 30 years, I'm gonna be pissed. And, well, the good news is, it might just give me a stroke or heart attack, which is how I was going out anyway.
Huh, that's a good joke, Boogie. And the fact he pointed at the camera makes it so much more believable. He rehearsed this. He rehearsed all of it. And back in 2022, I guess we still believed him. But then we saw, you know, the documentary and all this stuff, and Jesus. It's been going a really dark way. There's not very many stops left on the way down. I hope you realize. Lying about cancer is about, like, the lowest of the low. Whenever that word is even mentioned, it brings up such visceral feelings for a lot of people. Those feelings might be selfish, from like, God, I hope I don't ever get it, to, you know, thinking of somebody they know who did. It's not something that you can fucking play with, dude. I think a regular human being would realize that. Probably Boogie does too, that's why he doubled down so hard. 100K, waving you in the face. Good God.
And there's tons of different ways to treat it. I mean, they can draw your blood, like when they donate blood, or taking a daily aspirin is going to help. Getting something to help reduce the itching, which has been really rough for me over the few years.
How's your blood itch, bro?
It's pretty basic, easy stuff, especially at the stage I'm at. All they really want me to do is get a sleep study done, a colonoscopy done, and start taking an aspirin. So that's pretty cool.
Sleep study, colonoscopy, aspirin. Sleep study seems like something that they would do in order to try and treat the sleep apnea. Colonoscopy, I don't really want to know. It's probably just because you're old. You got to check the prostates. What was the last one? Oh yeah, taking an aspirin. Yeah, that's the really hard one. He does make it seem so flippant and nonchalant in this video. But the video he made right after this one and posted on Twitter that's now deleted, I'm going to show you that too.
The best thing for me to do in this situation is to lose some weight as much as I can. Me and my eating disorder, well, I haven't been able to make that work so far.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And I don't know if I have what it takes to even at the threat of death, to overcome this eating disorder. But by God, it's do or die now.
It's a really interesting transition there. I know we're here to talk about my cancer that I'm totally nonchalant about, but also the mortal coil is unraveling because I can't stop eating. Yeah, that really sucks, man. I lack self-controls in a lot of ways too, but like that's not one of them. And like I said before, all of this is orchestrated. All of this is a narcissist laying the groundwork for the people that like him enough to follow him on Twitter to get grifted. Grifted! For years, we've just been grifted. Gaslight, gatekeep, grift, girl boss.
I always wondered if I knew that the food was killing me. I mean, directly killing me. Like, I've already had a heart attack. I'm recovering from it. Or, God forbid, cancer. Like, I always wondered if I knew for sure that the food was killing me, would that be enough to get me to stop eating? I don't know. Now that I'm here, I still don't know.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction.
Yeah, guys, I might do it for real. I mean, I'm doing it indirectly, but I'm gonna make all of you watch it. You just have to get me to my unspecified goal. This number of monies will make everything better. It's not generally how it works, Boogie. The happiness comes from inside. And he's like, yeah, I know, that's why I've been eating a lot. It's like, no, dude. That's not how you find it. It doesn't grow as you grow. No organ really does. Except your skin, I guess. Anyway.
I guess time is going to tell. God, I fucking hope so. It really seems like all this bad stuff is happening at once right now, and I think I'm handling it pretty well. I think that's life or fate or whatever. You know, the holidays are already pretty tough for me. Then some other issues I've been going through. Now this health issue. I think the world tests you, right? And to determine whether you're going to put up or shut up. And I'm a survivor. I've been doing this for 48 years, kicking life's ass, surviving, at the very least surviving, right? So I'm obviously going to survive this.
Surviving is generous. I guess it could be called just existence at this point. You don't actually have to do all that much to survive, do you?
In terms of the clarity that I referred to earlier, I've known about this for a little over 6 weeks. That it was a probability, though I just got my official diagnosis. But I hope it gives you an idea of why I've been so worried about my money, why I've been so worried about my career, why I've been so worried about my future, why I've done some of the things I've done and said some of the things I've said. Maybe I should have led with this before I asked people to watch my videos or become channel members or whatever. I don't know. This felt very private at the time.
Yeah. What caused that switch? Just like, yeah, okay. It's official now. You can let the money rain down on me. He's also vocalizing like an inverse thought process where he's like, oh, I should have led with this before you guys became members and this and that. So you didn't feel guilty taking their money before they knew you had cancer, but now you sort of do? Because from what I've seen, it's the exact opposite. The bottom just dropped out of this entire fucking thing. Anyway.
At the end of the day, this diagnosis doesn't really change much. You know, obviously we're going to treat it. Obviously I'm going to get the sleep study done, update my CPAP machine, get the colonoscopy done, make sure there's no other issues to worry about. I'm going to continue to try to lose weight and continue to try to improve my brain and try to continue to work here on YouTube, and hopefully people will watch. Maybe they won't. You know, that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Do the do.
Yeah, just existing, doing what you do, which is essentially nothing. It is who you are, Boogie. I'm glad that the entire world can see it now. I'm glad I jumped on the Boogie train when I did with the Mike Klum documentary. I think there's a live stream still laying about the channel. I wish I could even say that this was like a fall from grace, but it's not. It's a complete downward plummet from, I don't know, oafishness, nice guyness. But he never really was the nice guy. That's the whole thing. It's all orchestrated. Not because he sat there and actively planned it out, but because this is what has been getting him through life thus far. He goes on to talk about his bucket list. Who really cares? You totally started it. He's like, I went to Disney World and did all this other crap. Met a bunch of people. It's like, okay, well, where did that magic money from 2017 go? We probably should have bought some NVIDIA stock. Anyway.
What is left now is concentrating on healing this. Concentrating on healing this and using my channel to entertain, educate, and give hope to people. Like, that's all I want left in the world. And it seems doable. Seems within reach.
He can't even make eye contact during his little spiel. He puts his hand out for reach, but it's almost like he's offering the lie on a platter, you know? A little body language analysis there for you. There's so many trace amounts of science in this, good God. Again, I'm not sure whether he's lying to his audience or to the mirror image of himself on the screen, but probably it's both. Safe to say it's probably both. He's like, I gotta heal my head and my body, and it's like, you've never put in the work to heal either of those things. Work? What's that? He got lucky off of one hyperbolic character when Fred was the peak of entertainment on YouTube, and he's sort of just been able to coast on that ever since. Drop one, like, minimally edited, crappy vlog a week, and you call it good. We're doing enough. Let me ask you this, Boogie. Have you ever dreamt of more? Because I dream of more so often that I find it frustrating when I can't get to the point that I want. But laying down, saying, this is good enough.
Kick with your legs! I can't kick! Yes, you can! I can't kick, you just have to save me!
That kind of thought process is so far removed from my own. I can hardly conceive of it. Why do you not do? Don't you want to build and create? You got the testosterone in you, don't you? It made your blood look like maple syrup. I mean, even more than usual. But it still didn't instill in you a sense of like, I gotta have it. He just sat himself down. He's like, I guess this is good enough. 5,000 views a day, we'll make do. And admittedly, his channel is looking a lot perkier these days, ever since he did all this crap to himself. But it's a payday that's going to be short-lived. I guarantee you that much. There's no grand master plan behind what he's doing. He just wants it all right here. Don't save any for tomorrow. Just like he's done forever. How do you not have all the things by now? How have you fucked up your investments this bad? I'm a channel 1/10 of your size. I've been doing it for, what, like a quarter of the time that he has. And I've been able to get some investments, a little savings. We bought a house in the Philippines, granted, but it's a damn fine house. I'm proud to live here. But you know what it takes to do something like that? A little bit of effort, a little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of something, uploading every day for half a decade. Probably more if you include the gaming stuff that nobody ever watched. I guess the thing that drives me the most nuts about it is if I can do it, why can't you? The fact is that you can, you could find it within yourself. But instead it's just an endless grift. Oh, I made the meme coin because I had cancer. Yeah, I made an unlisted video on it a year ago. Well, it's been dug up and now it's gonna be used to take you to task because yes, the things that you mentioned, such as the testosterone, the sleep tests, those are the things that are causing the polycythemia. It's not polycythemia vera, you don't have blood cancer. And in this video, granted it's, you know, a year before all this happened. He's been dealing with it for a while. He's really gone downhill in a lot of ways. But he seems at least somewhat chill about it. He's like, oh, it's not a big deal, you guys. He also has to throw in just, you know, a little bit of that Minecraft bait, just so the dollars will flow in, even when he tells them not to donate. Because we just feel bad for you, Boogie. We spent so many years feeling bad for you. But now that people can see the truth, they're just completely pulling him apart, man. Will he be able to weather the storm? I'm not really sure.
I don't want to monetize this in any way. I felt you guys deserve to know.
Yeah, guys, he definitely doesn't want to monetize this video in any way, okay? He's above that. He's definitely above that. Well, let us see if his tune remains the same in the Twitter video that was posted only a few hours after this YouTube video. Is he gonna ask for cash? You guys want to play some bets? I could use some cash. Let's see.
Hey, sorry about my voice. I'm getting over the flu, but I wanted to say thank you to the people that have reached out in the last 24 hours. Content creators, YouTubers, fans, friends, even people that don't even like me have had nice things to say, and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
That's right, 2022. We're still rallying behind Boogie. Hey, you can pull it together, champ. Sorry you got that super rare blood cancer, but at least you'll be remembered fondly. I was gonna mention Total Biscuit here, but even in a sarcastic context, I cannot mention that man's name in comparison with this thing.
I have a favor to ask of those people, though, and I'm sorry.
Oh, favor. Favor.
But
little favor.
I see the rumor mills creeping back up
Rumor
again.
mills.
The same rumor mill that's accused me of God knows what else. And this time they've decided that I am faking my cancer diagnosis. And whereas I know that those people know better, I know that nobody's that fucking stupid, it's still going to spread like wildfire. So number one, if you're that kind of person, fucking stop. I get it's fun to LARP about me. I get it's fun to pretend that I'm a piece of shit. And I get that I made my mistakes in the past. But cancer's not something to pretend about. Cancer's not something to joke about. Cancer's not something pretending that I'm lying about cancer for clout and views. The fucked up thing to do. Get help.
You know what would be even more fucked up than saying that you're lying about your cancer diagnosis? Actually lying about your cancer diagnosis. Is that not quite clicking for you there, Bugsta? It isn't. Even as far back as the day that he posted the cancer video, he wanted to protect the lie. And you can hear the anger in his voice, the fear that his lie might be exposed. But I'll tell you this, all chickens come home to roost. Spirit just live an honest life, huh?
I get that it's fun to dunk on me and try to ruin my life. I get it. But fuck you if you're doing that.
I get it, but also I'm angry about it. I mean, you're only angry about it because it's you. If they were dunking on wings, you'd be like, hey, yeah, he really fucked up. But now you're the one in the crossfire, And all of a sudden, it's not okay. You shouldn't question people about that. I'll keep my medical record sealed, even in the face of $100,000. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Just watch the whole house of cards come crumbling down.
But cancer's not a thing that we're going to joke about, okay? Cancer's not a thing that we're going to pretend I'm lying about. That's not a thing we're going to do.
Some classic gaslighting there, friends. Oh, we're not going to do that. Why would we ever do that? We can't do that. We're not going to do it. What is this we business? I guess the we is the collective internet that has decided that yes, we definitely are going to do it. And despite, trying to speak with an authoritative tone for once in your life, it was not very effective.
The attack wasn't effective.
Did he beg for money there? I missed it if he did. I think the being grateful part at the beginning was like a subtle nudge. So I guess the next place that we should probably go is to the LOLCal Live, where Destiny confronts Boogie. Mr. Mediker, as I mentioned, he's also there because he really does have some like horrible cancer. And when people questioned him on it, he was able to provide receipts. Isn't that interesting? Mediker explains to Boogie that you could just log in to your healthcare provider's website and give a screenshot of the diagnosis and everything would be all peachy. He'd be $100K richer. But he just refuses to. Supposedly on principle, but as we've seen from Boogie, he really doesn't have that many principles. Why is it all of a sudden this diagnosis that he's like, no, I'll never show it to any of you. You'll hear him say it in his own words, but essentially it's exactly that.
Boogie2988, you are being confronted tonight. I am 99% sure that you are faking.
No, don't move.
You are faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie.
Okay, let's hear that.
Let's hear that.
He doesn't go straight into the denials. He wants it to be laid out a little bit more so he can look for things to pick apart. Hopefully buy himself a little more time. Like if you're this committed to the lie, at least open up MS Paint, you know what I mean? Be like, here it is. But he doesn't even bother. He's just like, no. The burden of proof is on you to explain why I don't have cancer. That's insane. You were the one that alleged the cancer in the first place. And also, this is the Anything Else podcast, not LOLCal Live.
Did the doctor ever tell you, or did he ever say the word cancer?
He said polycythemia vera, which is a form of cancer, as he explained it to me. And no, it is not secondary polycythemia, which is Nicholas Diorio's explanation for this bullshit.
So I think it is secondary polycythemia. Can you explain?
Well, then why would he call it polycythemia vera? Why would he tell me that I have hormone markers in my blood that tells me I have polycythemia vera? Why does he order a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it?
Well, if he ordered a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it, it would be weird that you told us that you already had a diagnosis and a confirmation. If it has
because the markers are in my blood, the hormone markers are in my blood.
Correct,
Destiny.
but you said.
Didn't we just see him say that everything was all confirmed, but we're still going with the biopsy thing? Little biopsy never hurt nobody. Check and make sure. But I think the main issue, the thing that has caused Boogie's polycythemia, as I said, was the sleep apnea, which was why he was doing the sleep test. If it's polycythemia vera for reals, they're not going to bother with the sleep test, okay?
That you'd received a diagnosis, but now you just told me that you got a bone marrow biopsy to confirm.
It's a diagnosis, and now we're confirming.
Sure.
It's called a confirmation. The hormone markers are already in my blood.
Years later, we're confirming.
So I think what happened is, Boogie, based on everything...
biopsy because I'm wanting to do that, because I'm praying to God I don't fucking have cancer.
He doesn't care.
I'm praying to God I'm taking the 1 in a million fucking chance that they're fucking wrong, and that there's another reason that I have the hormone fucking imbalances in my blood.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been confirmed, is what you're saying. Didn't we say that it was confirmed for a year? You see, lies on top of lies, garbage on top of garbage. You're never going to be able to dig yourself free. You might as well just have a come clean moment, right? But I really don't think he's capable of lucid thought to an extent that would allow him to do that.
Why are you praying to God 2 years after you said that you have cancer, that you don't have cancer?
Because 2 years ago, they told me I have polycythemia vera based on the fact that I had increased red blood cell counts, increased hemoglobin, and the hormone markers in my blood.
But what about the 6 week before that, when he was acting weird, before it was all confirmed? He didn't know anything before then? Something's not adding up here.
And it all spelled pretty definitively that I have this. And so he wanted to get a bone marrow biopsy, but it is intrusive and expensive, so they decided to forego it. I would like to still get it done because I am hopeful, I am praying that there's a fucking merciful God of the world that would be willing to fucking let this be wrong, even though it most certainly is not.
So why are you talking about expensive cancer treatments if they don't even know if you have cancer? That nothing has been confirmed yet. It's been 2 years.
They're treating it, dipshit.
They're not.
Because
How are
they've
they
been treating it for 2 fucking years.
I do believe that there are treatments that you have to go through for polycythemia, even if it is the secondary version. Having thick blood, especially when you're a big fella like Boogie, very, very increased chance of heart attack or stroke.
How are they treating it, Boogie?
Blood test, blood thinners, bloodletting, medications.
Bloodletting.
They're trying to get my weight
Correct.
down.
Yes, bloodletting! Let the bloodletting commence! Bring me my leeches! I love that, dude. Who's that guy that caught that? This is a funny fucking dude.
Polycythemia vera.
No.
Polycythemia vera.
You fat fuck. I want to hear the guy that actually knows something.
Polycythemia vera.
The anger, the fear that was in his voice, that year ago video when the lie almost slipped out, you can hear it again here. It's intensified a little bit, but you can definitely hear it again. Oh, it's juicy.
So I think that Boogie was told that he has polycythemia, which means he has an elevation of his red blood cells.
Destiny explains basically what I explained in the video before. Essentially, the differences between polycythemia secondary and polycythemia vera.
Wait, let me just finish real quick. Let me finish real quick. Wait, real quick.
He's not done. He's not done.
Yeah. 2 years ago, you said that you had a cancer diagnosis, but now you've just said now they're doing a biopsy to check for cancer.
Confirmation.
Is this House
Destiny.
MD? Are we treating a blood cancer without actually confirming it yet? For 2 years, you've been having a cancer treatment without confirming there's actually cancer there?
Because it was in my blood markers, and that's pretty goddamn definitive. You can Google that, Destiny.
Oh man, what a shout fest. This is kind of why I don't dig live streams, but the differences in the blood markers would be increased white blood cells along with platelets if it was polycythemia vera. There's also relative polycythemia, where the plasma volume is reduced, but the RBC numbers are the same. And you could probably get that one just from never drinking water. Always Mountain Dew. This guy always with the Mountain Dews, right? So yeah, I didn't play the full clip of Destiny taking Boogie to school, but essentially he dropped all of what I said with the first half of this video in Boogie's face. Boogie's sitting there with his mouth agape. Still trying to convince everyone that this is totally real, and I'm sure it'll totally work.
If there was, then he wouldn't have.
Look at one of your medical papers, dude.
Yeah,
I'm never showing any of these motherfuckers my medical papers. Go fuck yourself. I said that 2 years ago, and I'm staying by it now. Destiny, Jackson, Clark, Keemstar, you can see it when I fucking die. I would rather you motherfuckers continue.
Okay, well, here's an easy question.
Goddamn thing. The last goddamn thing.
You're the one
last
who's
piece
using
of
LARPing.
fucking security I have in the fucking world.
The last piece of security, the last bit of privacy I had. And in Mudahar's video, he actually makes a pretty good point, pointing out how in the Mike Klum documentary, why don't we take a look at this?
Dog is listing off the infinity stones of diagnoses, but yet cannot decide to give up some of the very tiny privacy in the situation. You could redact whatever you want and just prove you actually fucking had cancer.
It would be so simple if only it weren't a gigantic lie. I just love seeing people get caught up in lies, dude. It's one of the most entertaining things in the world to me, because essentially you did this to yourself. Out of your gluttony, greed, pride, whatever it is, you chose to not be honest. Now, sometimes people might have noble reasons for that. Boogie's reasons are definitely not noble. And every single deflection or wall he throws up, it's really easy to punch a hole through it. Everybody's just punched a hole. That wall looks like Swiss cheese out there. It's funny to watch Boogie try and cling on to like his last scrap of dignity. Just pretend that I'm in the right here and act incredulous that you guys want proof. It's gonna turn out fine. I don't know there, Boogster. At a certain point, you've jumped the shark. or the whale, as the case may be.
Well, so the easy thing here is if there are blood markers that definitively confirm polycythemia vera as a blood cancer, then why are they doing a biopsy?
Because I'm insisting on it. Because I'm hoping
the microphone.
No, wait. Why would you have to insist on a biopsy if you can confirm with a with blood markers? It's because you can't.
Because I'm hoping that I are wrong.
If you're hoping they're wrong, then why 2 years ago were you talking about fighting cancer? Why would you be talking about like?
I have been for 2 years.
Fighting cancer? How? With what? With blood thinners?
Oh, this one's for you, Boogie.
Because oh god damn it! Because you treat polycythemia vera almost identically to the way that you treat polycythemia, because you can't attack the cancer directly. All you can do is treat the symptoms, and the symptoms are identical to polycythemia because it's the same fucking thing, with the exception of one's getting caused by an external source and the other's being caused by fucking cancer. And in this case, it's getting caused by fucking cancer.
I don't believe that at all. How many external sources does it take? And then he just like rolled a nat 1 and got the super rare blood cancer version. You can't make this up, dude. It would be so easy to wind it back, but it gets less easy every minute, every lie you tell. The hole is only getting deeper, and honestly, I'm excited to see what he'll pull out to try and dig himself out next. Probably stick a dynamite, stick it up his self-sabotaging ass and be like, I'll rocket myself out of this hole. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
So I do think there are different treatments available for polycythemia vera, and I think that the outcomes for that are significantly worse than just having it induced by some other thing like sleep apnea or hypoxia. But I mean, if you wanted to,
the treatment plan is pretty identical.
Yeah,
the treatment plan is pretty identical.
So if there are two huge things. So one, you could show it to a private party and they could confirm, somebody like Keemstar. But two, the issue is that if you want to keep your medical issues to yourself, I think everybody is entitled to that right, obviously. But if you're going to come out,
I should have never talked about it to begin with.
Well, hold on.
Wait,
hold on. Stop. Hold on.
One of the reasons I was going to do a GoFundMe was because they verify, for the record. They verify.
They verify?
So
that would be the third party that I would.
Yeah, so GoFundMe does not do the best verification, as has been proven multiple times in the past. But the issue is that you say that you shouldn't have talked about it, but the fact is that you did. You did the day that you got the diagnosis. You were like, well, I was considering doing this, but I just got my diagnosis today. So you weren't considering, you did it instantly.
I sat on it for a while.
Wait, on your tweet, did you not say that I got my diagnosis today and then talk about it?
They told me, okay.
Destiny nailed him down so hard, dude. Came in with so many receipts. There was just no way the Boogie could shoot it down. There's no defense whatsoever because you're a lying asshole, and he knows it, and he just refuses to admit it. Come on, Bookster, let's let the healing begin, huh?
They told me in the office that they were worried about it. Then they did the blood tests. Then yes, I did tweet about it on the day that I got confirmation, but I sat on it for a couple of months before, or for a couple of weeks before talking about it, because it took a while for us to get the blood results.
So you sat on it when you didn't know the answer? That's not called sitting on it. That's just called waiting for an answer.
No, he considers it to be sitting on it because this is a thing that can make him a lot of money if he played his cards right. He probably did. He probably made at least a few $1,000 in like sympathy dollars, you know what I mean? Then he pissed it all away on video games and plastic bullshit, and he's just like, uh-oh, how am I gonna pay for my fake cancer now? Boy, oh boy. Better get the crypto scamming. You could not make something like this up, dude. It's just the wildest ride there is.
It's secondary polycythemia. There is no cancer here. There's no proof of it. You can't show anybody proof of it because it's not real. And yeah, I don't know. As somebody that, like, his mom had cancer, it's just a little bit gross, I feel like, when people are talking publicly about fighting cancer and stuff.
Yeah, didn't people come at the completionist because he was like hoarding the donation money? At least he was able to send it to a charity. That's some news that maybe you missed. I don't care enough about that fella to pay attention, but I'm glad he was taken to task for his inaction. And inaction, I feel, is not necessarily as bad as like actively lying and then lying on top of your lies to cover it up. And the truth is, Boogie's done this forever, but nobody pressed him on it because they felt bad for him. But now that's all over, dude. There's blood in the water. Absolutely everybody's done a video. But I hope that this one will be more complete and definitive and probably long-winded than any of the other ones out there. Whatever, anyway, that's basically the clip. Destiny says, no you don't. Boogie says, yes I do. And roundy round we go until we get to what I think summarizes this entire situation the most, and that is, again, CoffeeZilla on his second channel, Voidzilla, having a little phone conversation with old Boogster, and he's not in good sorts. He basically screams his fucking head off. I can't say that I blame him all that much. It must be a tense, very high-pressure situation, but realize that you're the one that built this containment chamber for yourself. These are the consequences of your own actions. I love to see him getting squeezed, dude. So if you want to see the first CoffeeZilla call, it's in the crypto video, and then, yeah, this is the follow-up.
I found out a few days ago that these statements were false. I know this because Boogie gave us a timeline of when he got paid in the first place. So when were you paid the $5,000?
5 days ago.
Later, I verified with Boogie this payment occurred on June 19th. And when Boogie said all the money was gone on June 26th, that gives us a window of time where he should have receipts for about $5,000 of medical expenses. Boogie, when I asked, agreed to share these expenses with me, and the following conclusions are based on him providing accurate records, which I know is a dubious idea, but when he shared what he had, it fell far short of even what I was expecting. He gave me 2 receipts for the time period, one for $154, the other for a copay of $60, a total of $214 by the time we talked.
Now I'm the last one to advocate for old Boogster, but maybe he did see some expenses coming down the line and he's like, this money will be out of my hands soon, but then you say it that way. The way that he said it was really weird. I think he said something like, it's at Mercy Hospital, it's already in their hands, which, yeah, is a lie. It will be in their hands soon. I plan to use it on this, that, and the other. But no, he thought blood cancer would be the perfect shield. While there are people out there legitimately dying of blood cancer. God, he's just the worst sort.
So where did the rest of the money go? Well, Boogie claimed
McDonald's.
that it was really intended for medical expenses after we spoke, and that when he said the money was gone, he meant it colloquially and then accused me of lying.
Oh.
Wait, that's on June 28th. That's on June 20th.
You liar. Does he have a button on loop? How did he say it the same way 3 times? That's where we're cutting into this phone call? I want to see how it escalated, but oh well. This is what we get.
8th. You showed me a payment for $550 on June 28th, which is after we talked, after you told me the money was all gone.
Yes! Have you never heard of the colloquialism? Yeah, that money's all gone, it's all spent. I have a specific thing I need to do with it. Have you never heard that colloquialism? Use fucking Google then! It's very common!
He's losing it, dude. It's just a colloquialism! I said they already had it in their hand, the specific hospital. I mean, I guess that could be a colloquialism, but this is quite an overreaction for what could be a simple misunderstanding. He's just terrified of the lie getting out. Now it's out. What's your next move? I'm gonna delete my Twitter. Yeah, that'll fix it. He'll be back. You just wait.
I'm saying...
I'm not used to this level of scrutiny.
I can tell.
It's probably my favorite line in the entire deep dive that I did. I'm not used to this level of scrutiny. Yeah, we can all tell.
Okay, so I have a big problem with this because looking back at what Boogie said, it wasn't just the money's gone, which already means very specifically the money's gone, but he also says the money's at Mercy Hospital right now, which is a colloquialism I've never heard before if you mean it's not at Mercy Hospital.
It's at Mercy Hospital right now.
But even being as charitable as I can, adding in everything he calls medical expenses outside of our time window, like there was an $1,000 credit card payment. Okay, we'll just say that's medical, right? He's still only able to get me to about $2,500 worth of medical expenses for the month, most of it not to Mercy Hospital, which I wondered about. Did he need the fatty coin then from where I was sitting? Instead of having spent the money on medical bills, It looked like he saved most of it because of his starting and ending bank balances for the month.
Did he need the money? No. Did he want the money? Every time.
You paid about $2,500. Like you're also talking about money you haven't spent, which you're trying to add up to $3,000. That's not the $5,000 you said was gone. And then you're taking.
I told you it was $4,000 when we started this conversation, but of course you're lying about that too.
Boogie, can you explain exactly how you started the month with $800, ended it with $5,000? You're saying the $5,000 you made from a crypto scam has nothing to do with it.
I saved my ass off.
Yeah, it's just good finances, you guys. Totally possible, 100% plausible. Not really. In 1 month, dude? Come on. And this is July. This is like a down month for YouTube. Every time 4th of July rolls around, I'm like, paycheck's gotta take a hit. And it does a little bit, but you know, our wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons and YouTube members help us make some of that back. So thank you for supporting month to month, my friends. You should join them. Is it too forward if I ask? You made it this far in the video. I'll keep doing it for free even if you don't. I'm just saying.
The $5,000 Boogie made from a crypto scam has nothing to do with the $5,000 sitting in his bank account right now. That's there because he pinched his pennies. Now, when I pointed out Boogie could have refunded the scam if he wanted to, he freaked out and told me he's got a mortgage to pay. Boogie, you need to pay that $5,000 back. You need to find a way to refund people.
You, it's spent. If I do, I won't have
It's not spent. You have $5,000.
No, well, I can't. I won't have mortgage.
But this is totally shifting the goalposts. Remember, the reason we were told the money was at Mercy Hospital right.
Yeah, it's interesting how it shifted from medical bills to mortgage. I guess that's the nice thing about money. You know, you can just throw it at basically anything. The problem with Boogie and money is that, yeah, usually he does. He's like, you know what I need for my room? More plastic crap. Just pile it up behind me. Some kind of Nintendo cave ogre. Oh, man. He's really not getting out of this one, is he? I'm waiting for him, dude. When he comes back, I'm going to be here. 2 years, 10 years down the road just to say goodbye. I'm going to be right here. And, you know, like I said before, I know he can't exit completely. That's just not what he does.
Right now, that was initially. Now it's because he's got a mortgage. But also, Boogie had showed me his income for the last month. And it looked to me like the podcast is what paid for his mortgage. And so I asked, wouldn't that money pay for your mortgage? Boogie said, this month it wouldn't because he had to go on a special trip. And his co-host was withholding all the money for that month.
Do you understand?
You're not getting a Where's your podcast payment coming from? You got that on the 30th.
It's being fucking kept so we could go for this goddamn trip. The money's coming out of my goddamn paycheck.
So you're going on a trip.
Yes, I'm being forced to go up there to film the fucking podcast live. I told him I didn't want to. He told me the business was going to pay for it. And then he just said he's taking it out of the check.
Gosh, Keemstar not doing what he said he was going to do? Sounds like you're being bent over a barrel. A person with any self-respect would walk away at this point, but of course, Boogie doesn't have that problem. He depends completely on you. You're the only person that feeds him. So yes, he'll do whatever you say. And Keemstar knows it. So if you ever see a little gnome with a giant fat ogre in his pocket, just know they're probably on the way to film a LOLCAL Live podcast. Live, in person. It has to be in person. We can't do it over the internet anymore. Why? Like that's going to improve things somehow? It's ridiculous. So CoffeeZilla was able to contact Keemstar, ask about the whole situation. Keemstar said, no, we're definitely paying for Boogie's mortgage. And now, finally, we make it to LOLCAL Live, where Boogie's being confronted about yet another lie on top of his lies. It's amazing.
You told him that you weren't getting paid from this show. He played the fucking recording because he recorded you. Then what? Then I understand that. Do you think people can edit things to be a little bit out of context?
Well, if he wants to play that game, here's the clip where Boogie directly says it. He says he's not getting paid. Boogie, you could have gotten through this month without the crypto scam, is what I'm saying.
And I could have not paid my friend back for covering my medical bills.
No.
Oh, now it's not the mortgage. It's my friend loaned me the money. I got to pay my friend back. You see, just all these twists and turns we go down. God.
No, you.
And I couldn't. No, listen.
Well, I've seen your bank statement, so I know.
Because you're ignoring
I know
the
what's
fact
going to
that
happen.
I need to pay mortgage.
Yes, your mortgage, right? Which should have come from the podcast.
Coming in. There's no more money coming in between now and then.
Which should have come, but it should have come from the podcast. It's not.
Right, because I'm not getting paid this month because I have to travel to do an on-location shoot.
This guy is so manipulative. He has managed to move the story from the money's at Mercy Hospital right now to, well, I have $2,500 of medical expenses at some point in the month to, well, the reason I'm ending the month with $5,000 is because I'm such a great saver and I needed to pay my mortgage to, no, actually that mortgage was paid for too.
I'm telling you, lies on top of lies. I don't know if he's physically capable of stopping anymore. He's gotten away with it for so long. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that is an old-ass, fat, ugly, mean dog, too. You turn your back on it for half a second and thinks you got something that it wants, it will bite you. I'm sure Keemstar keeps him on a very short leash, keeping the mortgage paid and whatnot. But this is 100% a man who is spinning out of control. He's got huge names out here trying to help him. 100K if you just show us anything that could prove this. But he's so deep in the lie now that he can't find his way out. I don't blame him from disappearing from the internet, waiting for the heat to die down, but I know there's a large subsection of people, myself and many others, that will be waiting until he gets back. Maybe it'll be a good thing for him, but probably he'll just waste away his time, not building towards anything, sitting around, wah. You guys have to feel bad for me. Can I have more money now? No. Go earn it like everybody else.
The last point I want to address is the accusations he made against me on his show. He says he should have never taken a call with me. He says I recorded him without his consent, despite me telling him up front this was all going to be public and that I was approaching him for comment. This guy now acts like I tricked him.
I should have never talked to CoffeeZilla to begin with. It was a joke, CoffeeZilla.
Who told you that?
Of course you fucking did. Much less the second fucking time. Then in this, by the way, CoffeeZilla records you without telling you he records you.
That's not
Name
true.
a
He
YouTuber does that.
He told
No,
me.
he did in the first time. In the first time.
Well, I think it's worth showing you then how he talked about me behind the scenes when he spoke with me, because it was very different to what he's saying now. Now he's saying I'm taking him out of context, that he didn't know what was going on. Here's what he was saying back then.
Just more blatant proof of his manipulation. Oh, truly we are feasting today. I love it, man.
Amount of integrity. I really, really appreciate it.
Hey, no. I mean, to be honest, I'm happy to do it. It's something that I really like people to know ahead of time. I mean, it's not. Yeah. I try to play a long game with YouTube. I'm not interested in like a quick video. Yeah. Like, who cares? Like, I'd rather, you look better and you get your point across than.
Thank you. And it shows that you have the integrity that I believe you did. 110%. It means so much. Many YouTubers would not have done that for me, and you did, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah, just make sure his smooch hole is nice and clean before we get into the whole thing, right? Yeah, man, you really got integrity. The fact that you would tell me that I have integrity, it means nothing to me. You don't even know what integrity means.
And I even, no matter what you have to say in this video, I'll never have a bad thing to say about you. Even on the show, even on the Low Cow podcast, where my job is going to be to attack you back, I'm just not going to do it. I'm like, no, I think Coffee was fair. I'll be genuine, okay?
And of course, he wasn't. We saw the clip. Oh, he's taking you out of context and editing the clips together. You just always have another excuse, don't you, Boogie? Always just one thing waiting in the wings. And if that doesn't work, hey, we'll try another tack. The story has shifted so many times, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't even know what's real life anymore. Luckily, through the magic of audio-video recording equipment, we can all go back, we can see your lies laid out as plain as day. There's a timeline for everything. The solution to all of this is just to live a more honest life. Be real with people. Especially in current day, where everything is scrutinized 100%. Everyone seems to have evolved this superpower of like knowing what's authentic or not. I don't know if it's a few too many TikTok or Instagram reels, but at a certain point you say, that's fake. This is staged. I don't believe that. It's critical thinking that just might save the world, and it's critical thinking that is truly taking Boogie to task here. He doesn't have much critical thought. He thinks that nobody communicates and he could just lie his way out of things. And maybe that was true in the 90s, but in the far-flung future, 30 years down the road, yeah, it's looking a little bit different. I'm super glad to see basically the entire internet come together to beat this dead cow. Yeah, excuse the turn of phrase. And I mean, one could, you know, possibly hope that this helps him to improve in some way, but with all that I know, with all that I've seen, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that he's capable of fully leaving the internet, but I will say that his future on this platform and many others is very uncertain at the moment. It would be great for him to take some time away, but like I said, I just don't think he's capable. Won't be long before he comes hoving his way back across the road. Another super cool and useful meme coin in his pocket. He's like, you want to give me some money for this? I'm like, nah, I'm good, dude. And he's like, well, I got cancer. You want to give me some money for that? Show me the paperwork. He's like, no, never, ever. I give you everything. I just want this for myself. It's a really bad lie from a really weird guy. Some time off the internet will definitely do him some good. I don't think it'll cure him completely. Time will tell, of course, but I'm laying down some heavy money on, yeah, this is a one-way trip. A downward plummet, as I think I called it earlier. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, friends. If you did, like, comment, sub. I appreciate all them things. You can also check out the Patreon or the YouTube membership if you'd like to support me monthly. I appreciate it. If not, that's cool. I just appreciate you watching the thing this far. And if there's really one thing that you walk away from this video with, it's that no matter how bad it is for you right now, you got it a hell of a lot better than Boogie2988. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you're worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.